Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B Fan Club channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the dim echoing halls of the maximum security jail on the outskirts of Los Angeles, Luna Nozawa sat across from a thick plexiglass partition, her hands quivering as she grasped the handset. The air was stagnant, smelling of bleach and sorrow. It had been months since her arrest, when she was charged with murder as part of a convoluted web of deception involving the Forrester and Logan families. But it wasn't about her misdeeds, it was about a truth buried deeper than any tomb, one capable of shattering empires based on falsehoods and legacies. Luna's eyes, once bright with youthful ambition, were now hollow with remorse. She looked at the woman on the other side, her mother Poppy Nozawa, who appeared fragile in her orange jumpsuit, her once vibrant hair streaked with gray. "Mom," Luna muttered into the phone, her voice shaking. "I can't keep it inside anymore. The baby. Our baby. His father isn't who everyone thinks." Poppy's cheeks paled, her knuckles whitening around the phone. "Luna, no. You promised. We bury this forever." But Luna shook her head, tears running down her face. "I can't. Bill Spencer knows. He's furious. And he deserves the truth, before it destroys us all." Rewind to the luxurious Spencer estate, where Bill Spencer paced like a caged animal, his face masked with wrath. The resident mogul of the bold and the beautiful, with his silver hair and piercing blue eyes, had established his empire via instinct and intimidation. But this betrayal went deeper than any boardroom coup. Luna, the young woman he'd taken under his wing and who was carrying what he thought was his kid, had just confessed in a tear-stained letter smuggled out of prison that the biological father was none other than Liam Spencer, his own son. Bill clenched the letter in his fist, veins protruding in his neck. "That little snake. After everything I've done for her, for them." He smashed a crystal decanter against the wall, sending fragments flying like his disintegrating universe. Is Liam, his golden boy who he'd nurtured to take over Spencer Publications, involved with Luna? Worse, Poppy's involvement, the drug-fueled night that started it all. Bill had been there, or so he believed, in a daze of passion and narcotics, claiming fatherhood. But DNA did not lie. The test, hidden in Luna's prison files, showed a nasty twist. It was Liam's sperm, not his. Fury trickled down to something darker: grief. Bill sank into his leather chair, the weight of decades tumbling down. He'd lost so much. His marriage to Brooke Logan shattered by innumerable relationships, his friendship with Wyatt strained by favoritism, and now this grandson, a link to the future snatched by blood he couldn't trace. "Why?" he yelled into the empty room. "Why me?" The story of Luna's confession spread like wildfire, a one-of-a-kind narrative of sadness spun from the threads of The Bold and the Beautiful's timeless drama, but twisted into a singular tragedy of misguided love and permanent loss. It started not in prison, but in the shimmering haze of a yacht party months ago, under the stars off the Malibu coast. Poppy Nozawa, ever the free spirit, had dragged her daughter Luna to the Spencer-hosted banquet celebrating Forrester Creations' latest success. Luna, fresh from design school, wide-eyed and ambitious, mixed with the elite. Ridge Forrester yelling commands, Steffi plotting takeovers, and Bill Spencer, the shark in silk, staring at her with predatory intent. But it was Liam who drew her attention, gentle, idealistic Liam, nursing a drink and daydreaming of a future beyond corporate battles. The night descended into anarchy as Poppy's special mint bars, which were laced with hallucinogens, circulated freely. Bill, ever the hedonist, indulged and drew Poppy into a torrid affair below deck. Luna, seeking refuge from the whirlwind, fell into Liam's embrace. The cloud of drugs and passion blurred boundaries. 2 couplings, 1 night and 1 sad outcome. Luna's pregnancy. She panicked when she discovered it. Poppy, concerned for her daughter's future, persuaded Luna to pin it on Bill, the powerful father who could provide. Bill, captivated and seeing an opportunity to attach Luna to his empire, accepted the assignment. He showered her with presents, offered marriage, and even confronted Brooke's jealousy. But uncertainties gnawed. A quiet paternity test, obtained in secret, revealed the shocking news. Liam was father. The prison had stripped Luna bare. Luna snapped under interrogation after being charged with tampering with evidence in the death of Tom Starr, Poppy's ex-husband, who was killed in a drug-induced rage. In a plea bargain, she revealed everything, even the baby's true identity. The confession letter to Bill was her ultimate act of kindness or insanity. Bill's rage burst in a storm that engulfed the Spencers. He faced Liam in the Spencer Publications penthouse, towering above his son like a thundercloud. "You slept with her? My woman? My child?" Liam was surprised and initially denied, his recollections blurry from the drugs. But the DNA proof put under his nose shattered his defenses. "Dad, I don't remember. It was a blur." Luna never said. Never said. Bill's voice cracked with betrayal. "She was carrying your brother or sister, and you stole that from me." Punches flew, father against son, blood on the marble floors representing an irrevocably severed lineage. Wyatt, observing the chaos, yanked them apart, his heart bleeding for the family fracturing before him. Word spread like wildfire within Los Angeles's affluent circles. Brooke Logan, Bill's on-and-off-again flame, learned about it through a gossipy phone call from Hope Logan. "Bill's child isn't his?" "Oh, the irony," Brooke groaned, her own experience of complicated paternities ringing uncomfortably. She went to Bill's side not as a lover, but as a confidant, only to see him drowning in scotch and shouting curses on the Spencer name. Luna's prison days marked a slide into a distinct sorrow. Isolated and solitary for her confession, she clutched ultrasound photographs, speaking to the unborn kid about a father who didn't know and a grandpa who despised. Dreams haunted her. Liam's friendly smile turned into Bill's scowl. Poppy's giggle turned to screams. She wrote letters that were never mailed, expressing a sadness that no soap opera screenplay could capture. A mother's love colliding with the shackles of her mistakes. Luna miscarried one night while in her frigid cell. The anguish was tremendous, cutting through the soul. Guards hurried her to the infirmary, but it was too late. The baby, Liam's kid, Bill's dream heir, had vanished. Bill received news via brief prison phone contact. He sank, his rage fading into an abyss of despair. "My grandchild," he wailed into an empty home, the Titan's first tears in years. "This isn't over. Justice for Liam." The mourners fled or congregated in horror, leaving the casket unattended while the service's heart bled out. Hope clutched to the edge, apologizing to Liam's lifeless body. "I'm sorry I didn't see it. I should have protected you." Her anguish was a bottomless hole, unique in its combination of lost love and the merciless blade of truth. The Forrester legacy, once sparkling, is now stained with blood. Days turned into a nightmare of inquiries. Hope returned to the cabin where she and Liam had honeymooned, the walls resonating with ghosts. Beth's innocent questions, such as "Where's Daddy?" twisted the wound even further. Bill, spurred by paternal rage, unleashed a media frenzy, with headlines screaming, "Forrester murder plot exposed." Ridge faced imprisonment, his business wobbling. Steffi, crushed, approached Hope with a hesitant olive branch. "I didn't know," she murmured, her tears matching Hope's. But forgiveness remained a distant shore. Hope's anguish turned into a peaceful resolve. She turned it into advocacy, exposing corporate misdeeds and commemorating Liam's fight. However, nights brought torment, dreams of what-ifs and a life unlived. Bill, ever the Titan, rebuilt Spencer Publications on the wreckage of scandal, but his eyes cast an indelible shadow. Ridge, who was behind jail awaiting trial, wrote letters of remorse which Hope burnt unread. In the end, the funeral's demise signaled not only a death, but the death of illusions. Hope grew stronger, her anguish a forge for purpose, whispering to the stars, "You were murdered, my love, but your truth lives." The valley mended slowly, damaged but enduring, a tribute to the fragility of love and the sting of betrayal. The chapel was adorned with lilies and white roses, their aroma lingering in the silent air. The sky outside was gloomy and bulging with rain, as if the heavens were waiting for the perfect moment to explode. Every seat in the chapel was full, yet no one spoke. An oppressive stillness descended upon the room as Hope sat in the front row, her hands quivering in her lap. Her eyes were red from sobbing, and the tears would not stop even now. The polished wood coffin at the front of the room, which shone softly in the dim light, contained everything she had ever loved. Liam, her husband, her best friend, the father of her child, gone. When the priest began to talk, his tone was calm and reverent. He spoke of life and forgiveness, and how death is simply another door. Hope could barely hear him. Her eyes never left the casket. Her fingers gripped around the little white rose she was holding, its petals damaged from where her nails cut into it. It did not feel real. Could not be real. Liam was laughing in the kitchen at midnight, the warmth of his arms when the world felt too heavy, and the steady heartbeat that had kept her safe through storms. Now there was only silence. Only the cold. Rich sat a few rows behind her, his face taut. He'd always thought of Liam as a son, even when their family links were twisted and braided beyond belief. He had tried to be strong for Hope and for everyone, but the weight of sadness was a living thing, gnawing at the edges of his resolve. Brooke approached him, reaching for his hand, but Rich couldn't force himself to look her in the eyes. He kept looking at Bill Spencer, who sat apart from the others, his visage cut from stone. The man had not spoken a word since his arrival, but his presence was thunderous. Everyone felt it, his rage, remorse, and secrets. Hope grew when the priest invited anyone who wanted to speak. Her knees wobbled, but she stood erect and took a trembling breath. Her voice quivered as she started. She praised Liam's kindness, patience, and ability to see the good in everyone. She recounted stories, small, quiet ones. He recalled dancing with her in the rain one night when they were young, and how he built a cradle for their daughter with his own hands, smoothing the wood till it sparkled. People were in tears yet smiling. Soft sobbing echoed throughout the chapel. Hope's remarks expressed both love and loss. When she was finished, she turned to stare at the coffin again, murmuring, "I'll never stop loving you." She then bowed her head and took a step back. The priest congratulated her and asked others to come forward. For a moment no one moved. Then Bill stood. The sound of his chair scraping the floor caused everyone to turn. He didn't walk, he prowled. His black suit was spotless, his jaw was set, and his eyes were a hurricane barely restrained. When he reached the pulpit, he gripped the edge so firmly that his knuckles turned white. The priest paused, sensing the tension in the room, but Bill did not wait for permission. "My son," he said, his voice cracking with the word. "My son is in that box because someone wanted him there." Gasps erupted like wildfire. Hope froze. Rich stiffened, eyes narrowed. Bill continued, his voice becoming louder. "You all want to talk about forgiveness and faith, but I can't stand here and pretend this was just an accident, a tragic twist of fate. Liam was murdered." The word blasted into the air, crisp and final. The priest attempted to soothe Bill, but he disregarded him. "They informed me it was an accident. They said the brakes failed and that it was no one's fault. But I have seen the reports. I have seen the evidence. Someone messed with his automobile." His voice broke again, full of wrath and grief. "And I'm going to find out who did it," Hope exclaimed, feeling the earth tilt. Her breath caught in her throat. The murmurs surrounding her rose. Incredulity, amazement, and fear. She gazed at Bill, her vision blurred. "No," she said quietly, shaking her head. "No, that can't be true." Bill fixed his focus on her. "I wish it weren't, Hope. But I swear to you that my son did not die by chance. Someone made certain he never returned home that night." The room erupted. Ridge rose, his voice authoritative. "Bill, this isn't the time or place." "The time is now," Bill exclaimed, smashing his hand into the pulpit. "You want me to stand here and smile while they bury my son, knowing there is a killer out there? No, I won't." Hope's cries cut through the air. Brooke rose to take Hope into her arms, but she staggered away, crying, "Who would do this? Who would want to hurt him?" Bill's eyes glistened, yet there was fire behind his tears. "That's what I'm going to find out." Outside, thunder rumbled as rain began to fall, beating against the stained glass windows. The confession plays repeatedly in his thoughts. Every phrase in Luna's quivering voice appears to scrape against his conscience. He can still see her pale and shaking face when she spoke Will's name. His son. It's his boy. The one person Bill had pledged to protect from the brutal world he had created. Now the same universe threatens to ruin them both. After leaving the prison, Bill grabs the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles become white. His thoughts alternate between disbelief and wrath. He had always known Luna had secrets, but this? This was unlike any twisted storyline he'd imagined. He feels as though the oxygen has been taken out of him. The treachery is not only personal, it is generational. Will, barely a man, became involved with a woman who should have known better. Bill also blames himself. His son was raised in his shadow, influenced by his example. Perhaps Will had inherited his impulsivity and recklessness. The thought makes him nauseous. Katie is at home waiting. She thinks something is wrong from the moment he steps in. Bill's eyes are black and his movements quick. She wants answers, but his silence lasts until it cracks. When he finally speaks, the truth erupts like a grenade. "It's Will," he muttered. Katie's hand flies to her lips. Will is the father of Luna's baby. For a long agonizing moment she says nothing. The words are too thick to understand. Her parental instincts conflict with her incredulity. Her son, her youngest, was caught up in something scandalous and dangerous. Katie's knees weaken, and she collapses into the couch. "Please tell me this isn't true," she says softly. Bill does not respond, and the quiet confirms everything. Her eyes tear up and her voice cracks. "He's only a boy, Bill. He has no idea what he's doing." However, Bill remains unimpressed. He is old enough to face the consequences. Luna's falsehoods have transformed our family into a circus. And now she's in prison, pregnant with my son's child. Do you know what that means? Katie can't argue. The Spencer name will be mentioned in every Los Angeles headline. The situation is disastrous. However, beneath her amazement, another worry emerges, a mother's fear. "Bill, we need to safeguard Will. He is vulnerable. If this gets out, he'll be destroyed." Bill exhales sharply and paces like a trapped animal. "Protect him. Do you think I won't? I'll burn the entire planet down before allowing anyone to touch him. But Luna, she is the one who brought us here. And she'll pay the price." Meanwhile, Luna is in prison, plagued by her decision. The revelation has relieved her of the burden of secrecy, but it has also unleashed a storm she cannot control. She can still see Bill's eyes, filled with bewilderment and anger. She knows he won't stop at anything now. Every sound in the hallway makes her cringe, and every echo feels like judgment. Her cellmate Mariah, a quiet woman, is watching her with interest. "You did the right thing," Mariah says one night, breaking the silence. "Secrets always rot from the inside out." Luna smiles weakly. "Maybe. But sometimes the truth kills faster." She looks away and presses her hands on her stomach. The baby moves, small fluttering reminders that life persists even in the ruins. Luna says, "I'll protect you no matter what happens." Despite Bill's efforts to keep the news under wraps, it comes out in the coming weeks. Gossip sites scream with headlines. Spencer scandal rocks a prison confession shocks Forrester and Spencer families. Photographers rush the Spencer estate. When Will leaves the house, flashbulbs blind him. He avoids his parents, feeling humiliated and bewildered. Bill is furious with the media, but he understands that damage control is difficult at this point. Katie insisted on meeting Luna herself. Despite Bill's protests, she visits the prison. Luna is taken aback when she meets her. Katie Spencer, graceful even in mourning. The air between them vibrates with unsaid grief. Katie sits across from her and says, "I need to hear from you. Did Will understand what he was doing? Did he love you?" Luna nods slowly, tears welling in her eyes. "Yes, he did. It was not supposed to happen, but it did. I never meant to hurt anyone," Katie says, her voice trembling. "You have destroyed him, Luna. You've wrecked all of us." Luna lowers her head. "I understand. But I had to speak the truth." Katie stands, her face pale. "I couldn't let that baby grow up not knowing who their father was. Do you call this the truth? It is a disaster. My son will be damaged for life." And with that she walks out, the sound of her shoes booming down the corridor like a bell. Back at Spencer Publications, Bill's rage finds a new outlet, retribution. He summons his legal team and demands that Luna forfeit all parenting rights. He wants to raise the child as a Spencer, but not by her. His tone is chilly and disconnected. "I'll make sure she doesn't touch the baby. Not after what she's done." His lawyers nod and begin preparing the papers. Will, however, is not mute. When he eventually faces his father, The conflict bursts like an explosion. "You cannot do this, Dad," he shouts. "This is my baby, not yours to control." Bill stands steadfast, his voice like steel. "You aren't ready to be a father. You've only recently graduated from school. You don't understand what she has done to you," Will says, shaking his head. "She did not do anything to me. I am in love with her, and I'll be there for her." That statement cuts deep for Bill. He sees his younger self in Will's disobedience, and his fury subsides, but only for a moment. The next morning, media gather outside Spencer Towers. The scandal has become a public spectacle. Ridge and Brooke discuss it quietly. Steffi is upset on behalf of her family, and even Sheila Carter finds a way to get involved in the mess, spreading stories and abusing the situation for her own enjoyment. Everyone holds an opinion. The Spencer name, long a symbol of authority, is now fraught with controversy. Luna receives a letter while she is in prison. This is from Will. His handwriting is unsteady, and his words are raw. He tells her that he will not desert her. He swears to fight for her and the kid, regardless of what his father says. Luna tears up when she reads it. For the first time in weeks, optimism flickers. Perhaps love can withstand this devastation. Perhaps not everything is lost.